you so much for joining us on another edition, number 51 of Lunch Out Loud Ottawa. My name is Nick Baczewski.
I'm Andrew Miller.
And of course, we're the podcast that talks to the people, places, events, and music that make Ottawa the incredible city that it is. And before we get to Sabrina, Mark, and Spencer from the Fulcrum, why don't we check this out?
Hey guys, this is Justice R.F. on Lunch Out Loud, and you're soon to be listening to the sweet, sweet sounds of the Virginia Flame demos. If you find yourself thinking, gosh, I like the cut of this guy's jib, then come see us play this Friday at the Raw Sugar Cafe with Toronto's very own Creature Speak. Tunes start at 8 p.m. and it's only $8 to get in. Hope to see you there.
Tell me what it means to lie down with you and lose everything. And if I can't fall asleep, will you tell me a story about a boy who loves a girl? And if that story ain't enough, will you tell me all the things I want to hear? Like how you swore that you'd always be around, and how you'd never let my
Lovely birds chirping there. Thank you so much, Justice, for that. So listen to those soothing tunes tomorrow night at Raw Sugar. Should be a fun time, cheap, $8. Support local. So something special we're doing this week. We have 2 tickets for the Nature Nocturne tomorrow night at the Museum of Nature. It is going to be an awesome time. You got 40 designers, makers, artists, and businesses from Ottawa's burgeoning creative scene and beyond. So there's so much going on.
Go
Art
dance with
displays.
the dinosaurs.
You're dancing with dinosaurs.
That's what we're talking about.
Can it be better? Dancing with
Nothing.
fossils,
Nothing
dinosaurs. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So all you have to do with that is retweet one of our tweets, like a post, share a post. So it's pretty simple to get those contests. The contest ends at noon on Friday. I think maybe Adam or Sabrina or Mark will pick the winners of this. We'll get them to submit it, so we're not doing any favoritism or anything like that.
Yeah.
And,
So you guys call it your friends.
so it's all good. So this is going to be part 1 of our little going around to our universities. We'll try to get Algonquin as well.
There you go.
To find out what is exactly is going on at our universities.
And elsewhere. I mean, we're old
and
now.
elsewhere. We're old.
We're like
I want to
right
know
old
what's
school.
going
I
on
don't
in
know what's
sports.
happening.
I want to know what's going on in arts because the Alumni Association is not updating us. So this is going to go to the alumni to try to open up that kind of avenue. So we're joined with Sabrina, Mark, and Spencer. Thank you so much for having us here at the Fulcrum. It's finally nice to ever be in this building. I was never here when I was in university, so
Welcome.
it's nice.
We've got more heat here than I have in my apartment. So.
There you go. So you're spending a lot more time here than
Yeah.
me.
Happy to have you.
So that's Sabrina, and you live, or Spencer, sorry.
Yeah.
And do you live in Sandy Hill then?
Yes, I do, actually. So it's been kind of interesting with all the stuff going on, especially with residents of Sandy Hill trying to get as many students out of there as possible.
Yeah.
So, yes, I live super close, which is great. It makes my life easy, especially in the winter. I'm just 5 minutes away.
So what is, that's a major topic that's going on. The
Yeah, we've talked about it with other
Yeah.
city planners and whatnot, too.
We've
so.
had Matthew Fleury, the councillor from this area, on before. So are residents coming to your building and checking out your place, or what's going on there?
Spray
No.
painting your doors and...
Yeah, exactly, with all the pitchforks and flames. No, I'm actually very fortunate. I can't complain because I'm in a condo corp.
Okay.
So I had to do the super fun process of going to the board of the condo corp and getting them to let me into the building.
Oh.
But I do have quite a few friends in Sandy Hill that have had issues that are in more student housing type buildings and stuff like that. So
What are the issues?
the biggest issue is just space. Plus, Sandy Hill has got such a wide demographic. I mean, you've got younger families, especially with schools in the neighborhood. And then we've got a few retired folk as well. We've got a lot of embassies. We've got consulates in the neighborhood. So it's really a wide span of people, and they're having issues apparently with partying and stuff like that. So
Parties? There's no parties here.
never. We are well behaved post-secondary education.
And they're signing petitions now to try to block they want to build the University of Ottawa wants to build 2 new residences in this area. Is it growing that much, the university? Is the population, are they trying to expand the population with the new buildings that they're putting? And then trying to find where to put these first years?
Yeah, exactly. As it is, they're trying to put first years, they're trying to build residences that are going to be in Sandy Hill, which is the major issue with Sandy Hill residents, is where the residences are going to go, as well as they're building a new residence, but it's going to only have 165 beds, so there's that issue. But the university is growing exponentially, like it's massive, and as it is, they're trying to double the amount of international students, so there's a question of where they're all going to stay, and stuff like that. So there's kind of a ripple effect with all the different aspects of the issue.
So spacing's a major. And where did the Sandy Hill the Sandy Hill residences want them to build it on?
They want to build it on campus.
On campus,
which there's really not that much room left.
Exactly.
Where would you see them putting that? Where are any ideas? Because in order to do that, they need to have some ideas for that.
Well, they were talking about, like, St. Paul's isn't doing very well right now, and, like, most of our overflow for res kind of ends up going there. So, like, St. Paul might be closing in a couple of years, so maybe the university could, like, take that and sort of expand there, but that's also a bit kind of off campus. They also have a bit of space right beside the Lees campus, which isn't too far. It's like a 2-minute bus stop.
Right beside the new football stadium.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. What are
That'd
your
the
opinions?
residents
What do
here
you
happy
think?
anyway, too, because everybody would be over that way and stuff.
Absolutely. So what do you think will happen? What's your idea?
Well, it'll probably be a few years down the road, but we have talked with Mayor Watson, and he's been discussing it a lot lately too, especially with the light rail that'll be in. I think they're saying 2017 that we're going to be able to get from this campus to Lee's campus in like under 2 minutes. So I think that's probably the safest bet. And I mean, I know especially with the new FSS building and a couple other buildings that we've got on campus, there has been more of a focus on building up as opposed to building out, which is good. That being said, I mean, residence is typically for first-year students, so you still have to address the issue of second, third, fourth-year students, as well as graduate students who are not going to realistically want to be living on campus or in a campus residence. They don't want to be monitored by the Residents Association, and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I feel like as someone who's lived in Sandy Hill now for the past 5 years, as I've gotten older, I've gotten kind of out of the party scene, or get a little bit more settled, so I don't know what they're going to end up doing in terms of building buildings, but I don't see too many students moving out of Sandy Hill.
I like the light rail. I think light rail will change a lot. And if I've been to a bunch of other universities around the world, and a lot of them have campuses for residences outwards, and you bike there, and then once you start biking, I think that's a good scene as well. So, anyways,
let's talk a little bit. We always like to get to know our guests a bit better. What brought you to Ottawa? What kept you to Ottawa? Obviously, school brought you here. If you weren't already living in Ottawa, but why did you guys choose Ottawa U?
Or stay here too.
All right, and stay here, yourself, I guess, Spencer, we'll start with you. You've been here for 5 years now?
Yes. So I'm in my last year. I'll actually be done in December. I'm from London, Ontario.
Okay.
And I went to the only French first language high school in London, Ontario. It was, the bilingualism was a huge draw for me. As well, when I was in my last year of high school, the University of Ottawa was the only university in Canada that offered the International Studies program, which is what I'm studying. And so I had gotten my acceptance from a few other universities, and I had applied to Western as well as all of the other campuses and affiliated schools with Western. And my mom said to me, if you don't move out, I will not pay for your education. So I was like,
wow.
See ya.
Just take the boot.
Guess I'm moving to Ottawa.
Right
so
on.
That's how I wound up here, and I love the city. There's lots going on. So
What are some hot spots that you like to check out there? Be it at
favorite
restaurants or
I actually, when I first moved here, I did the whole market scene for a while, but now I hang out mostly on Elgin, so all the restaurants that are there are just phenomenal. And since we've gotten our bus pass, I've covered a lot more ground in the city. So I've got a lot of friends who are out in Barhaven, which is nice. So I wind up kind of East End a lot now.
Wow.
And as well, I love Little Italy and Chinatown, which sounds so typical because I feel like once students realize that it's there, they spend a lot of time there. But the yoga studio that I go to is now called Yoga Town.
That's right.
Yes.
There you go. And yourself?
I lived abroad for a couple of years, and like I had a degree from Western, and I came back to go to Teachers College, and I didn't want to go back to London, kind of over London.
Gotcha.
I'm from Northern Ontario. A lot of people from Northern Ontario live in Ottawa, so I have friends and family here.
Cochrane?
Timmins.
Close. Yeah,
I
got a lot of friends
from there too.
Yeah. And your favorite hotspots in Ottawa?
I also usually go to Elgin. I really like brunch, so I usually go to Lieutenant's Pump for brunch.
Great
Oh,
brunch.
there you go.
Love
Yeah,
that.
for
Especially
sure.
in the summer at the patio.
And I saw that the
Sit there.
Mayflower is now completely done.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Yeah, I knew that they were
What's going
closing,
in there?
but I'm not too sure what's going to go there now. But I saw they were closing, and it's gutted. Like,
Wow.
It's a really sad sight.
Yeah, it is.
Darn.
Like I mean, I know people
Well,
that
let's
have been going there
hopefully
for
a good
30
restaurant
years.
goes
So, yeah. And yourself, bud?
So I'm from Toronto, and I also went to one of the few French public high schools there. So kind of a question of wanting to continue keeping my French is why I came to Ottawa. The program that I picked really isn't that special, philosophy.
Yeah.
But I also it's weird. I talk to a lot of people. A lot of people really love Toronto, but having spent 18 years there, I kind of got over it. Mm-hmm. And like the last couple of years, I was living right in the downtown core on Lower Jarvis. So like, I don't know, Toronto kind of got old. It kind of, the atmosphere was getting, and when I came here, the thing that like I really loved about Ottawa was that it was like a big city. It had everything that a big city has, but it feels like a really small town, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very green. There are a lot more bike paths here, and like people don't honk at you when you're biking. Like,
Yeah.
Your mayor likes bikers in
yeah,
this city.
exactly. And a couple of places that I really like in Ottawa. So when I was here in first year, I didn't really do the whole party thing.
Yeah.
I was a bit more studious.
Good for you.
I've been discovering though places that are very kind of like student friendly. Maison is definitely one of my favorite places.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. You get cheap beer. You get
Right
right on the corner over there.
Yeah.
Another place that I
The
like.
old Acadia house back
Yes.
when I was there, yeah.
Yes, exactly. They actually have a washroom now that's called the Acadian Washroom, and then they have other washrooms for the non-French speaking.
There you go.
Used to
But,
have pints with Jack Layton there back in the day.
Really?
That was his hangout, yeah.
Wow.
He's a good man back there, yeah.
Yeah. Another place that I like is Patty Boland's.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have been recently. They
No, I
actually
haven't
just
been
switched
recently.
over the management. A new guy took hold of the place.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And he's trying to steer it away from like the old vibe, which was that the guy was trying to turn it into like a more of a club thing with a DJ. Now he's bringing back the live music. He's
Okay.
bringing back more local beer and stuff like that. And like
Good.
he has a really good deal on Fridays. $4 appetizers, £1.50 of wings.
So you get all the students there, yeah?
Yeah,
That's good.
basically. It's a really great place.
Are
That's
students starting to gravitate more towards the local beers? Because I know when we were in university, we didn't have the microbrews, and it was all Coors Canadian, that crap.
I definitely...
That stuff we won't drink anymore. And then now we have so many great beers. So
I think it's kind of trendy. Our opinions that are started doing a feature called Pints with Pony Boy because we wanted people to try things besides, Canadian because it's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And we really wanted to focus on local microbrews. So kind of.
Sweet. Are there any favorites of most people around that you're with? No.
Mill Street.
Yeah, Mill Street is
I'm a
pretty
huge
big.
fan of Mill Street. I like the organic.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's a popular one too.
So you like that Blues Fest then?
Yo,
Big
yeah.
sponsor Blues Fest. So what's going on at the university now? What are your major kind of contentions that you're writing on, and not conversions, but other kind of news? I saw you just interviewed Alan Rock. That's very interesting. How's he doing?
Yeah, he's doing good. He does a really great interview. He's always very gracious with us, which is sweet. It's nice that we can get in there and he's willing to talk to us. The big thing that we talked to him about is university differentiation. So the province of Ontario is making a huge push right now for universities to specialize. So what they're kind of saying is that there are 20 universities in Ontario, and they don't want 20 identical universities. So Alan Rock he's got his Vision 2020 that he set out a few years ago, so it's kind of where he wants the university to be by the year 2020, so a lot of it is in line with that, in terms of bilingualism, really pushing that, and internationalization, really pushing that as well, but specifically he wants to deal with the public policy type programs, as well as health sciences. Our health sciences programs are phenomenal, and they're making really, really great strides that aren't really being done anywhere else in the province. So that's kind of where he's at right now. Other than that, in news, I mean, it's usually centered around our student federation, so lots going on with them. Usually they've got a referendum coming up.
What is the referendum about?
They have a referendum for, they would like to create a general assembly. So it would kind of be a major decision-making body within the campus and within the student federation. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to work out. It's all next week. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how that one works out. Yeah.
So who is the president of SFUO, and what did he run on last year? What is the major hot topics? Because when I was here, it was Aramark at the food and beverage, because the food was so bad. So if anybody ran saying they were going to change Aramark or look at changing it, they would have won. So what is it now? Anne-Marie
Roy is our president, and she's great. They're doing a lot of things right now, especially I think all the universities are pushing for lower tuition fees. So that's a huge focus this year. And that's what she's kind of been working on, or what the campus or student federation's been working on. As well with the General Assembly. There's been, they had a meeting last week, and so talking about the Constitution, and I know that everyone left the 6.5-hour meeting very frustrated.
Really?
That things are getting done, but very slowly, and it's very focused on the Constitution as opposed to having issue focused.
So the Constitution's too big, and they're having problems working around and making the changes? Yeah,
they're spending a lot of time making fine fixes to the Constitution. So one of the members of the executive had mentioned that she wants more issue-based motions brought to the board. So I think that it'll be interesting to see whether or not that happens and whether or not they start being more issue-based. So doing things, like focusing on food on campus, which are the things that affect students. So I think that that's really what they're trying to do with lowering tuition fees. And they're looking at having a compulsory meal plan. So
compulsory?
Yeah.
Wow. The SFUO is trying to put that in, or the university is trying to put that in?
It's kind of a mixture of both, as far as my understanding goes. It could just be the student federation. I may need to double check on that one.
It's going to be a bit tricky with allergies and whatnot. And,
and it'll require as well changing up the actual building itself in order to be formatted for a dining hall. So that's something that's all kind of
how bad is the food right now?
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. We're going to take a quick break. We'll take a break. We'll listen to one more song from Justice R.F. This one is The Night We Lost the House. This is off their new EP. So check this one out and check them out this week. All right, thank you so much for joining us. And
when the fire struck, it burned me too. Dirt on my face with the ashes of you, but I can't be faithless. So hold on to me, we can make it. I know you can't breathe, but we can save her. Oh, the fire burns my skin, but I can take it for her.
So much for joining us. And so we'll go right into a hot topic that I know was dear to me back in the day. How's the food now on campus? What are we looking at? We still have Mr. Sub here?
No. Do we have Mr. Sub?
There's a sub place.
There's a sub place.
Probably
we went
just
from,
changed the
I think,
name now.
Mr. Sub to, we had a Pita Pit for a while. When I was Frosh, it was Pita Pit. And I'm not sure exactly what it is now. I want to say it's like a Quiznos.
Oh, maybe. That's
Yeah.
there's still a big name
Yeah.
storefront sort of thing, though.
Yeah, exactly. They've got a couple of those. We have a pizza in there. Our salad bar has drastically improved since I was in first year.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not 100% oil or whatever.
Exactly.
I remember.
So yeah, it's seriously improved, but so the people who are looking to possibly change it into a mandatory meal plan as well as a dining hall is a committee made up of members of food services, housing services, and the student federation.
Okay, cool.
I wonder how that will work. So that's going to be put right into your tuition when you pay it, and then you have to eat on campus.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be like the mandatory bus pass.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I would assume some of these bigger names, like the Quiznos and Pizza, they probably pay somewhat hefty fee to be in there, right?
Absolutely.
So that money's going to have to be made up somewhere if you go to a meal plan, right?
We already pay. Like, I feel like it's so much more expensive to eat on campus.
It is.
Yeah?
It is.
You
You
could
can
walk
easily
10 minutes
pay
to
like
Rito.
$10, $12 for a regular meal here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I knew more about the meal plan before coming here, because I would have easily on campus taken the bus to Loblaws once a week, stocked up and put in the fridge. I know the fridge, you'd have to double the fridges in the residences, but I would have been saving 20 pounds and
Yeah.
because those weekends of just pizza and that was pretty dreadful.
Yeah.
All right, so it's good to hear on that. How are sports going at Ottawa? How are Gigi's doing?
We just had the return of the Panda Bowl, which was really exciting, and obviously our football team beat Carleton's football
Destroyed
team.
them.
There was this one play during the Panda Bowl that was a bit questionable, but regardless, I think sports are doing fairly well. Our soccer teams, obviously, our women's soccer team has been dominating a lot, but they had a bit of trouble this season.
They're ranked number 1 for a while, right?
Oh yeah, they were ranked number 1 the entire season, I'm pretty sure. But they lost their first game against Carleton in 20 seasons, so in 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it was bound to happen eventually.
Well, it's that inevitability
Still,
of you're accumulating it, but and then they got knocked out in the quarterfinals by Queens, which was a sad thing. But it was also it was a really close game. It played out to about 120 minutes, and then it was in the penalty shots.
Oh, jeez.
The last penalty shot.
Oh, wow.
No way.
So game can't get any better than that.
Yeah, no, it was.
That's exciting. Were there a lot of fans coming out? How's our fan participation these days at GGA
the
games?
Panda Bowl was
was
completely packed. The stadium was filled up with 4,000 people, and then we had about 1,800 standing tickets that were also sold on top of that. But of course, the placement of the stadium wasn't ideal. There could have been probably a lot more people. I'm thinking easily 8,000 people would have shown up to this.
Do you see the Panda Bowl going to is it going to be going to the larger Frank Clair Stadium in the future?
I feel like it's going to have to transition just because it wouldn't be fair to Carleton, and just because of the
then you always have home field advantage, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's so many traditions around the Panda Bowl. It needs to kind of return to its home place, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're doing the naming rights for that stadium now, which is unfortunate because I like traditional stadiums. What was the reception this year of fans going out to the new stadium?
Anyone?
Do they like it?
Like I said, the placement's a bit awkward, right? Because it's right beside the highway. So on the one side you have a lot of space. On the other side you don't have that much space.
How's parking over there? I mean, I'm sure most people are taking public transit either way.
Yeah, no, they do a lot of they do shuttling from the sports complex down there, which is really great for students. And there is some parking available because of Lee's campus, but generally speaking, I don't see there being that much parking available. Mm-hmm. So. But I mean, again, considering the capacity of the stadium, it's doing pretty fine.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have intramurals playing there and at the sports complex?
Yeah, actually, I was on an ultimate team this semester, so we played ultimate out there, and then we're also doing some rugby games out there and just soccer every once in a while. They had a bit of a delay with building a dome, so we're gonna have to delay the winter programming.
There was an issue with the city and everything with
the company.
The company.
Oh, really? They're going to be building a dome over the whole new one?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It will be good, yeah.
Yeah, that'll definitely
knocks a huge, because now there's only indoor places at Carleton and in East End, West End.
Yeah.
Instead of because they took the one out from Frank Clair.
Yeah.
So hopefully they get that up soon.
Yeah. They're hoping it'll be done by December, mid-December. Hopefully by January it'll be.
Okay, that's good to hear. What about basketball? We're looking number 2 in basketball.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Number 7 in women's.
Excluding the 3 exhibition matches, way back in September, our team's been going, I think, 14-0.
Oh wow!
Preseason and regular season games, so they're looking in really good shape, and
that's great.
The point guard that they have replacing Warren Ward is also he's on fire right now. He's doing exceptionally well. I think he put out 28 points at the last game. He's just, our team is looking great, and I'm really I think this might be the year where
we beat Carleton.
Yeah, Carleton's going down.
I know.
When's the game? When's the Carleton versus Ottawa game?
Off the top of my head, I think it's January 19th. for the 17th.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Is it at Ottawa or Carleton?
I think it's going to be at the Rogers Center.
Oh, at the,
really?
The
Yeah.
Scotiabank Place?
Scotiabank Place. There you go. Sorry.
Or,
They're all the same thing.
yeah.
Canadian Tire Center?
Yeah, the Canadian Tire Center. I think I might have to go for that one for sure.
Yeah, that'll be an exciting
game.
event, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a great
for
game.
sure.
What about arts? How's arts and what we got here?
It'll be January 21st at the Canadian Tire Center.
January
There you go.
21st.
I tried to
Be
figure
there.
out the other day how many names that place has been now.
Like 8.
Yeah, I couldn't
Who
remember
cares?
them all.
There'll be a new one next year. How's arts and culture, and what should alumni be coming to see these days?
The SFUO and Pat Marquis, the VP Social, has organized a lot of free events that were pretty interesting. A Tribe Called Red was here in the fall, which was
Great
pretty
band,
amazing.
yeah.
And they were nominated for Polaris, and they're touring all over the world. And we just had a free concert that anyone could just show up to.
Really?
Cabaret. So that was pretty cool.
That's sick.
They bring in a lot of either local bands or like just emerging bands. Like we had Greenland here doing a free concert last week.
Great band from Montreal.
Yeah, excellent. She sounds like Adele. She has an amazing voice. Sabrina Held.
And
There was the ELE Festival, which was a lot of local bands, a lot of student bands playing.
That was also student organized, so it was a really great opportunity for people to...
Right on.
Yeah.
We'll have to pick your brain later for some other bands that might want to be on the show then.
Absolutely.
Some other student bands.
And what kind of plays are going on? I know we're gearing up for a new opera.
The opera, yeah. The Old Maid and the Thief, which is an all-English opera, which is interesting. The opera company at the University of Ottawa makes an effort to make opera really accessible to people who might not want to go and sit and listen to Italian for several hours.
Yeah.
Last year they did Cose fan tutte, which was typically in Italian, but they did it partly in English and did kind of like a Greece theme. This year, The Old Maid and the Thief is kind of like a comedic opera from the 40s, so it's a little bit more accessible to people who aren't necessarily opera buffs, and kind of a good place to start if you've always been curious about the opera and you've never been. It's only $5 for students.
That's really good.
And $10 for alumni or
Yeah.
anybody else. What is the turnout out at the plays and the operas that are here?
Any of the ones that I've gone to, it's usually full.
It is
Really?
full? Okay, good.
And
Where do they hold them all? Sorry.
The opera is going to be in Freeman Hall.
Okay.
The theater, when they have plays, it's usually in the theater building in Seraphim.
Seraphim Malio.
Yeah.
Right on.
And right on. And so, anything else? Any stories of student successes that we can talk about? Any that we should be looking for that you know of, that you've done some spotlights on in the Fulcrum recently?
Yeah, actually, we've had quite a few students and professors that have been either winning awards or just kind of getting a lot of attention for their research and other accomplishments. We have one student that we're going to be writing about in the upcoming issue, he's a geography student. He's done a lot of research on global warming. So, I mean, always a hot topic. And there you go. A little pun for you. And so we're going to be talking about him in the next issue. He's been doing a lot of really cool things. As well, the Heart Institute has been doing some amazing things. They just got a new president, which is really exciting. And yeah, stuff like that. Most of it, in terms of news, is centered around research and stuff like that. We had a student go up to Nunavut to do research and learn all about kind of bridging the gap between North and Southern Canadian culture. And so he went up there for, I think, about a week or 5 or 6 days or something like that. So that was super interesting. And yeah, usually just Heart Institute stuff.
And you have Kevin Page is a new professor here, or research.
Pardon me?
Kevin Page, the former parliamentary budget officer.
Yeah.
He's here now, so that's
is
a
he?
big
Well,
draw.
I'll have to get him on the show again and talk about different stuff.
So that's a huge draw for economic policy and everything in the city.
What about sports guys? Anybody that are going to take the world by storm soon enough? Do we have the next, who is it there that's now on Kansas?
Michael
Andrew
Jordan.
Wiggins, is that his name?
Andrew Wiggins, yeah.
Yeah, he's from Toronto area, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's lighting it up. Is there anybody playing for the GGs there? You mentioned the new...
Yeah, Caleb Agata is doing exceptionally well, and he's only in his second year, so he still has a lot of time to grow. Somebody else, which is a bit more off to the side, but we have a swimmer this year. He's been doing pretty well every year, but his name is Adam Best, and he may be performing very competitively. He may even achieve like Olympic competition. So I'm pretty excited to see where that goes. I don't know if we have that much in other domains. Like our football team.
Do you think we'll be better next year, the GGs?
Yeah, I mean, Barassi has a lot of experience behind him. He has a lot of understanding, and I mean, he was a quarterback for our team as well. And at a time when like football was pretty big, like in the 70s, 75 was a really big year for us with Neil Lumsden and Mike Murphy and all that stuff. But I don't know if we're gonna like do exceptionally well. But I mean, I definitely think we're gonna grow in the next couple of years.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about hockey?
Yeah, hockey.
Not ranked right now.
Yeah, hockey hasn't been doing so well. They had a really kind of rough start to the season, but they are kind of coming back. In terms of players, I haven't really
Nobody
noticed
that's
anybody
really
standing out.
Stealing it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, there you have it. So there's your update on University of Ottawa. Of course, you can see the Fulcrum at fulcrum.ca. Are you getting a lot more draws to the online content now, as opposed to the written? Do you see a lot of people still reading? People at university still know how to read newspapers?
Well,
No, it's changing. You know, they're on iPads and stuff. You know, back in our day, we didn't have the iPads and the Facebooks and the internets. You know,
You do have pretty much full access online, though, right?
We do. We try to do a lot of visual things, especially in arts and culture, where people are on Facebook or on Tumblr and they can like look at pictures of things, which is more interesting.
that's what you have to do. Draw them in. Get
And it's a
people-
lot easier for people to share that way, too, right? I mean, it gets the name out there a lot more, so.
Yeah, all about supporting locals, supporting, trying. I wish the Alumni Association would see this and try to attach people more to creating an experience with your brand, because they definitely do not with my days.
our online editor, Casey, is phenomenal. And I mean, I know that I've learned a lot, especially, like, she's a genius when it comes to online. And I know that in news, especially, we've been trying to shift towards online so that we can cover more breaking stuff. So that's kind of been really interesting
Twitter.
in terms of having it, break as soon as it happens. And then we can develop the story further for the print editions.
That's
Is there a Twitter handle?
Yes. It is...
At the underscore.
At the underscore Fulcrum?
Yeah.
Right on.
What about events this weekend? Any
what do you
events
guys
that you're
got
going to be
going
going
on?
to?
There is going to be 9 home games this weekend. So
Holy
Oh,
jeez.
really?
So you're going to be covering a lot of
Yeah,
sports.
I'm gonna be
I'm
covering
going
a lot of
to
sports.
try to get out to that basketball game at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Basketball.
They have women's at 6, men's hockey at 7, and then the men's basketball game at 8.
Holy.
They have that Friday and Saturday, so it's a pretty solid lineup of sports.
Wow.
Right on.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to get that Friday one. Anything else? Any?
Well, the opera is happening this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and then I'm going to an open rehearsal for a dance group that has a bunch of University of Ottawa dancers in it. Their performance is November 28th, Exordium.
Oh, cool.
And I am covering the Canadian Federation of Students General Meeting. So that'll be all weekend. I'm actually heading there right now. Their opening plenary is today, and they're closing on Sunday.
Where is
so
that
that'll
gonna
be
be?
really interesting. It's at the Palais de Congrès in Hull. Or Gatineau?
Oh, well.
What's it called
So
now?
they're coming out. Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't know either.
I
No
know.
one knows.
Well, it's awesome that you guys volunteer for the newspaper. It brings you so much more skills for real life in the upcoming years. I wish I did more volunteering and was part of more groups in university. That's a major takeaway that you can get as opposed to just the classes and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's a great thing that you do. Other events that are going on. Tonight you got the Bytown Museum, Great Moments in Bytown. So it's the Bytown Mowdown at 6 p.m. That's going to be very interesting. It's free. And then they're also fundraising. Tomorrow, of course, Nature Nocturne at the Museum of Nature.
So don't forget, retweet some stuff and
We'll find a
post
winner.
on Facebook, and
There you go.
We'll get you some tickets somehow.
Saturday, Mark Forward, an incredible comedian. Have any of you
he's
heard of
back?
him? Yeah, he's at the Ottawa Little Theatre.
Oh, you guys got to check him out.
$15.
You ever see the show Mr. D?
Yes.
Okay,
He's a
you know the librarian?
Yeah.
That's him.
Oh, nice.
His stand-up is hilarious. Me and Nick actually saw him, was it last year?
And, a few months ago.
like that.
Great times.
Yeah, it was really
You have Mustaches Breaking Molds. It's a calendar launch at the Mercury Lounge at 7 p.m. I think that's $5 downstairs at the Overkill there. You got Holiday Shopaganza at the Glebe Community Center. It's a typhoon fundraiser for Philippines at 11 a.m. So that'll be a lot of fun. Saturday, you also have the Arts and Crafts Bonanza at the Bronson Center. So it's a large variety show. You got dancing, comedy, music, everything. So those are really fun. That's at the Bronson Center, which is the worst concert venue in the city. That's $15 at the door, $10 if you've been. Have you been to a concert there? It's worse.
No.
Don't ever. Tuesday, you got Picturama at Fall Down Gallery, where people are posting photos, and then you can purchase them. It'll be a fun time.
There you go.
That's a good time at Fall Down Gallery.
Yeah.
And you have the 613 Cocktail Wrap-Up Party at the Standard.
Right on.
What do you got? Anything else for you, Miller?
A couple of things. Just a couple of club nights. Soto or however, they're having their 4-year anniversary tomorrow night.
Already, eh?
Yeah. Ben Gold's in town, too, at, I believe he's at Era.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night at Ritual. Notastrom, Salva, and Sinden. Definitely, they're pretty much 3 headliners you got.
Yeah.
All for one show. Which is
Not a Storm,
really
I
good.
think, sold out Metropolis in Montreal.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt
Back
it.
in the day,
Yeah, and Salva and Sinden are insane too.
Really?
The Socialistas are doing a Movember CrossFit
Yeah.
on Saturday at 10:30 a.m.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, not me.
No, I won't be there.
I think that's pretty much it.
And next week, we have the Charlatans, so we're going to go see what Carlton's up to.
Yeah.
It's rivals. Boo. Bob Ford went to Carlton.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
There you go. That
Lesson learned,
that
friends.
explains a lot. Eh? Well, thank you so much, guys.
Right on. We
It was
got
a
one more
pleasure.
tune here.
Absolutely. This is Virginia from Justice R.F. I wonder if he's been to Virginia.
Who knows?
Beautiful, beautiful state, sunny Virginia. All right.
Right
Have
on.
a great weekend, everyone.
Later.
Thank you. Bye.
Spending our evenings listening to Dan and Jonas. We'll talk about the path we're on. So please stay, 'cause our kids and your mother I said, oh, Virginia, won't you come back to me? 'Cause our kids and your mother and I need a woman to love me. I said, oh, Virginia, I know your family's gone, but we can make a new one if you stay with me. I said, oh, Virginia, oh, you talk about your mother's love, and you worry you're not enough. Won't you please stay? Say, oh, Virginia, I said,